Some love stories begin with an instant spark, but Ethan and Lily's, it started with a clash. Ethan is a man of order, someone whose life revolves around goals, ambition, and structure. He believes in logic and practicality. Every day is mapped out, and every moment is accounted for. He's never been the type to deviate from his plans. Lily, however, is the complete opposite. She's spontaneous and carefree, living for the moment. Life to her is an adventure, and she embraces the chaos of it all. A painter at heart, Lily never sticks to a schedule and thrives in creative spaces. She loves meeting new people, experiencing new things, and finding beauty in the unexpected. Though their worlds couldn't have been more different, fate had a way of bringing opposites together. It was a rainy Saturday afternoon when Ethan first met Lily. He had been invited to a mutual friends gathering, dressed in his usual crisp, tailored suit, calm, composed, and ready for an afternoon of structured conversations. The sound of raindrops tapping against the window created a cozy atmosphere, but Ethan felt a sense of unease. He preferred predictability, and the weather was anything. But Lily, on the other hand, was late. She arrived in a flowy dress, with wild curls and an open, carefree smile. She'd just come from a painting class and had her art supplies slung over her shoulder. When she walked into the room, she radiated spontaneity, and Ethan couldn't help but notice how different she was from everyone else. Fate, or bad luck, forced them to work together. They were paired together to help set up the event. The clash was immediate. Ethan was all about precision. Everything had to be done in a specific way, from the placement of the chairs to the arrangement of snacks. But Lily, with her unpredictable nature, kept tossing his plans out the window. She suggested ideas on the spot, but none of them made sense to Ethan. "Why can't you just follow the plan?" he asked, frustration creeping into his voice. "Plans are boring. Life's about going with the flow," Lily replied with a laugh, completely unfazed by his irritation. Their first conversation ended with a sharp exchange, and as the afternoon wore on, they steered clear of each other, both convinced they were each other's worst nightmare. Little did they know, this wasn't the last time their worlds would collide. They crossed paths again a few weeks later, this time forced to work together, perhaps for a group project at work or to organize another event. From the moment they started working, the tension was palpable. Ethan tried to bring order to the situation, while Lily floated from task to task, her ideas spontaneous and unplanned. She'd suggest taking breaks or rearranging everything, and Ethan would cringe, trying to stick to a structure that made sense to him. "You can't just keep improvising," Ethan snapped one day. "I can't live my life according to rules," Lily shot back, her voice playful but firm. They both felt frustrated with the other. Ethan couldn't understand Lily's free-spiritedness, and Lily thought Ethan was way too uptight. Their arguments became more frequent, and there were moments when neither thought the other would ever understand them. They were too different, too far apart. And yet, every time they disagreed, they somehow ended up in the same space, working toward a common goal. But sometimes, the universe gives you a moment, unexpected, simple. Over time, they were forced to spend more time together. Whether it was on a project or a mutual friend's event, they found themselves in the same room more often than they'd like. They began to notice things about each other, small details that made them start to look past their differences. One rainy evening, after another heated discussion about how to organize a party, Lily suggested they go for a walk to clear their heads. At first, Ethan resisted, but something about Lily's easygoing smile made him say yes. As they walked through the park, the rain fell softly around them, and for the first time, Ethan let himself relax. They talked about everything: life, dreams, the future. Ethan found himself laughing, something he hadn't done in a while, and Lily found herself admiring his steady, calm nature. "Maybe I'm a little too rigid," he admitted as they walked side by side. Lily smiled. maybe I need to let go sometimes. That night, they saw each other in a new light. They weren't so different after all. Both of them had something the other needed, and in that moment, they started to realize that their differences could actually help them grow. Then came the moment everything changed, when Lily faced a major crisis, perhaps a personal issue with her family, or a sudden art show she wasn't prepared for. Ethan, who had been watching from the sidelines, offered his help. At first, Lily was reluctant to accept, but she soon realized that Ethan's calm, structured approach could give her the clarity she needed. Together, they worked through her dilemma, with Ethan offering guidance and Lily bringing creative flair to the solution. It was the first time they truly collaborated, and the bond they formed during that time was unlike anything they had experienced before. From that moment on, they began to understand each other more deeply. They were no longer just two people trying to get along. They were partners, helping each other to grow. They started supporting each other's goals and dreams. Ethan began to let go of his need for control, while Lily learned how to channel her creativity into something more focused. As their friendship blossomed into something more, they found themselves spending more time together. The moments they shared were no longer full of tension, but of mutual understanding and admiration. They would have deep conversations about everything from life to love, and as the weeks passed, they began to see how much they complemented each other, from arguments to laughter, from tension to understanding. Somewhere along the way, Ethan and Lily stopped fighting against each other and started fighting for each other. One evening, as they watched the sunset together, Ethan turned to Lily, his heart racing. I think I've fallen for you." Lily smiled, her eyes twinkling. "I've been waiting for you to say that." Their relationship blossomed, and soon their connection turned into love. They realized that despite their differences, they made each other better. They grew together, learning, evolving, and supporting each other. As their feelings deepened, so did their fears. Could two people so different really build a life together? They worried that their differences might tear them apart, but they realized that love isn't about finding someone who's just like you. It's about finding someone who challenges you, helps you grow, and compliments you in ways you never imagined. They had their struggles, miscommunications, doubts, and moments of fear. But in the end, they learned that love is about acceptance. It's about understanding that the person you love doesn't have to be just like you. They just have to make you feel whole. Ethan never liked surprises, but this one he planned. One evening, with shaking hands, he knelt before Lily and proposed her under the same tree where they had their first meaningful conversation. And with tears in her eyes, she said the easiest yes of her life. The wedding that followed was more than just a celebration. It was the culmination of their journey from strangers to soulmates. It represented their growth, their acceptance of each other's differences, and their decision to walk through life hand in hand. Together, they built a life full of adventure, structure, and love. They realized that the most beautiful thing about love is how it helps you evolve into the best version of yourself. They found balance in each other's worlds, and their love continued to thrive, ever-changing, ever-growing, and full of promise. Years later, as they sat on their porch, watching their children play in the yard, Ethan and Lily reflected on their journey. The rain that once symbolized their differences now felt like a gentle reminder of how far they had come. They had learned to embrace the unpredictability of life together, finding joy in the chaos and comfort in the structure they had built as a team. Ethan had become more open to spontaneity, often surprising Lily with impromptu weekend getaways, while Lily had learned to appreciate the beauty of planning, ensuring that their family life had a rhythm that worked for everyone. Their home was filled with laughter, creativity, and love, a perfect blend of their unique personalities. As they watched their children, who inherited both their parents' traits They knew that they had created a legacy of love that celebrated differences. They had shown their kids that love is not about perfection, but about growth, understanding, and the willingness to embrace each other's worlds. In that moment, surrounded by the warmth of their family, Ethan took Lily's hand, and they exchanged a knowing smile. They had transformed from strangers to soulmates, and their love story was still being written, one beautiful chapter at a time. Some love stories are written in the stars, others are written in the heart. Love isn't about finding someone perfect. It's about finding someone who makes you better, who challenges you, who walks beside you through every storm and every sunrise.